All right, hello and welcome to the Vision Computer Programming training on how to enter and schedule activities and attendance. Thank you for being here. We will review how to add new activities to the database, how to properly schedule them to occur, and the different ways to enter attendance and back attendance. So now I've muted everyone for the duration of the webinar, but I invite you to submit typed questions through the webinar tool. I will check for questions periodically throughout the webinar, and all questions pertaining to the subject of our webinar will be answered at the end. I'll also respond to any off topics later by email or phone. So now let's begin. First, we're going to discuss how to set up activities. So to create new activities to track, you would go to Organization Information. Now, this screen explains that if you're a multiple unit organization, then these steps must be performed at your administrative office. If you're unsure if you can edit organization information, please call us and we can help you determine this. So this screen explains that, and I'm just going to type my name and click I understand. Now we're going to go to the Activities tab at the top, and we're going to click Add Activity. Now we're going to fill in an activity description. So actually, let's step back a moment. Here at the top is a Find Activity drop-down list. So these activities listed here are every activity you have available to schedule. So if you need to schedule an activity and you don't see it on your drop-down list, you could come here and add those activities first. So I'm going to click Add Activity, and let's say I'm going to add Power Hour. You can make up an abbreviation. It can be anything you want. You know, I'm just going to make this one PH. This is the abbreviation that's going to show up on your calendar, so be sure you know what it means when you make the abbreviation. Then I'm just going to pick a classification that it might fit into. Now, those are the only three things that you really have to fill out. Everything else on the screen is optional. So if you'd like to fill out a maximum number of members per session, a default start and end time, or a default start time rather, a default duration, so if your activity is scheduled to just occur for 1 hour, you could put those things here. In the comment section, you can add anything extra that you'd like. You can tie this to an account type if you'd like. Now down here is a parent or guardian must be named to pick up a member from this activity. If you turn this on the activity, and also turn on the parent-guardian feature on the member, when that member scans out of this activity, it'll ask them to name who is picking them up. We also have a forced general attendance checkbox. Forced general attendance would mean if anybody checks into this activity, Power Hour, it will also check them into general attendance. So if a member forgot to check into general attendance that day, but checks into this activity, it'll automatically force that general attendance in on that activity. Once you've filled out all of this information, you can select Add Activity. Other important things to note on this screen are track why members leave this activity early or late. That's a new feature that we offer so that you can track why your members might leave early or late from this activity. If you wanted to use it, you could turn on, for instance, early, and let's say this activity ends at 4 o'clock, so I'm going to say that anybody who leaves before 3:30 p.m. must provide a reason why they're leaving. Then they'll be forced to select off a drop-down list or type in, you know, leaving because they're sick, parents have picked them up. Also, there's the late option. So I'm going to turn both of those off. Notice, too, there's a blue question mark on the screen. If you open those blue question marks, all the instructions will pop up on the screen for you. So if you decide later that you'd like to use this, track why members leave this activity early or late, but you can't remember how, remember that you've got these blue question marks you can click on to get more information and instructions. Also, there's other blue question marks on the screen, so just keep an eye out for those in the program. So notice there's an active-only checkbox here. If you wanted to deactivate an activity, something old you guys don't schedule anymore, but you'd like to keep it in the system for history's purpose, or next summer you're going to schedule that again, you could come here and select the activity and turn this active-only checkbox off. That'll make this activity inactive, and it won't clutter up your drop-down screens when you go to schedule the activity. And then to turn it back on, you could come here and mark it active again. and then you're ready to go schedule the activity. So the last thing to show you here on these screens is if your activity classification, for instance, I chose character and leadership, if you need to modify that list, you can also go to this activity classifications tab at the top, and you can add new classifications or edit existing classifications just by clicking directly on these lines. All right, so now that we've entered our activity, we're ready to go schedule it to occur so that we can take attendance on it. So I'm going to close here, and I'm back at our main menu. To schedule the activities, you can go directly to Activities. Now I'm going to go ahead and schedule Power Hour. Let's go to January so that we can start with a blank calendar. So here's my activity calendar, and on the lower left corner I'm going to click Schedule Activities. Here's where I go to schedule the activity to occur. Verify that this is your unit or select your unit at the top. Pick the activity you would like to schedule. So now notice Power Hour is here on my list. It wasn't before. The location, I can select the location that it's going to occur. If your location's not listed here, you can type it in, and it's going to ask you, this is a new location, do you want to add it? Yes. Attendance method, you can select from in and out or simple. Simple is just going to track whether a member has showed up at the club. In and out is going to track an in time and an out time so that you can actually track duration, similar to a time clock. So I'm going to schedule mine for in and out. My first scheduled start date is the date the activity is going to be scheduled to begin. My start time and end time are the time the activity is going to occur. Note also that you can clock in and out around those times. So if you're scheduled for in and out and people arrive to the activity before 2 o'clock or early before your start time, they'll still be able to clock in. I could add a comment here if I wanted to. And now at the bottom are the options for recurrence. So I can either leave it on schedule activity to occur once on the day that I'm scheduling it for, which was the 1st, or I can repeat the activity daily. So my Power Hour is going to run Monday through Friday every day. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on Monday through Friday. But if this activity was only to occur on a Monday, then you would just select Mondays. So I'm going to turn my whole week back on. Now I can ask it to schedule this activity this many times or through an end date. You can also repeat the activity monthly and end it on a certain day or on a certain month. I'm going to repeat my activity Monday through Friday for the entire month of January. So I'm going to ask it to end on January 31st. So now notice my activity is beginning on the 1st and it's ending on the 31st. You can also designate a staff person that might be facilitating this activity by selecting your staff person from the drop-down menu on the right. That's optional. You can leave that blank also. So once you're done selecting all of these, you can schedule the activity. Now, if your holidays are entered in organization information, this screen's going to notify you that you've got a holiday scheduled this month. Do you want to schedule your activity on this holiday? This will prevent you from scheduling on days that you're closed. It'll help a little bit with that. So I'm going to say no, we're closed on New Year's Day. We will be open on Martin Luther King Day. And now my scheduling is completed. So if I close here now, you'll see Power Hour is on the entire month. Now that the activity is entered and scheduled, we can now go and track attendance for the activity. So I'm going to go ahead and close here. And now we can go to Quick Entry from the main menu. So yes, I'm going to proceed to Quick Entry. Check your date and time here on this screen. If this date and time was incorrect, then you would check your system or computers date and time down here on the bottom right where your clock and your calendar are, because this time and date is tied to your computer. So mine is correct. I'm just going to click yes to proceed. Now we're in our quick entry screen. This is where your members can check in for activities. Be sure to verify your activity date here on the top left corner. And then you could select the activity that you would like to check your members in for. Now I scheduled Power Hour for January, so I'm just going to go and select January as my date. So let's say today was January 4th. Now you can see the activities that were scheduled for today. You will not be able to see any activity that was not scheduled to occur today. So even if you have an activity scheduled on other days this week, if it wasn't scheduled on the activity calendar for the day that you've selected here, then it's not going to show in your drop-down. So now I'm selecting my Power Hour activity, and here at the bottom you can either type in a member's name or their member number, or if they have ID cards, you can have your barcode scanner set up, and if the screen is open and you scan a card, it will check your members in. I'm just going to type in a member number. It's giving me a couple of options because I have more than one member with this number because I have 2 units here. So I'm going to select the member I wanted to check in, which was Teresa Ahrens. And now I'm going to see this quick entry screen that's going to allow me to proceed and check the member in. I can also proceed to create a transaction. So if people were paying their membership dues as they're coming in to check in, I can come here and create a financial transaction and create a charge and a payment right here in the quick entry screen. I notice there's some other things showing on the screen. This form is customizable, so you can ask it to show several things, including the age group, if they owe any fees. Keep in mind that if you select to show anything on this screen, that could slow the quick entry screen down because it has to go out and retrieve that information to show on this screen. So I'm going to click yes, OK to proceed, which will check my member in. If you'd like to adjust your quick entry settings, there's a button here at the bottom called Quick Entry Settings. You could go through each of these tabs and select what you would like to show and not show. Such as here we have selected to show my member's age and age group. Notice my fee level and my member type are set to never, so those won't show. So once you're done creating those settings for yourself, you can save settings and close at the bottom. And that will change how your quick entry screen looks. So now that is one way to enter attendance. Let's go look at a couple other ways we can enter attendance into the system. Before I exit quick entry, notice too that there's a blue question mark here on this screen also. So remember that those are instructions on how to use those screens. You can preview, you could print this also. If you open any blue question mark, you can print the topic. So now I'm going to close back out to the main menu. Another way that you can enter attendance, and this is a great way to enter back attendance, is to go directly to the attendance calendar. Now I could change between activities up here in the top left corner of my screen, and I could change the dates also. So for January, I can pick Power Hour. And now you'll see Teresa Ahrens was checked in once for the 4th, which is the attendance I just entered on the quick entry screen. If you double-click this X, it's going to show you my time in was 12:17 for Teresa, and the location and time that the activity was scheduled to occur in. I can come here directly to the attendance calendar and type an out time and close. That out time is now captured and will show on reports. You can do that for any of your members here. If you double-click on a blank square, you can select the location and type in an in time and an out time. And close. And that's going to save that attendance. Now, if you're not tracking in and out times, you can just type an X on your calendar, and that will also capture attendance for that member for that day. Now, if I double-click on one of those X's, notice the in time and out time are 2 to 3. That's the time that I scheduled the activity to occur. So if you just type an X on this calendar, it's going to issue an in and out time that just match the time the activity was scheduled to occur. It's not going to capture exact scanning times unless you actually double-click it and type in the in and out time. So just remember you can change between activities up here on the top left corner, and you can go back in time on this calendar and enter back attendance if you need to. Also on the left-hand side are all of your members, everyone who's ever been entered into the system. So if you want, on the top right corner, you can select to exclude anyone with no activity in the month, and that will narrow that list down to just members who have attendance. You can also select to show current statuses only, which should only show you your active members on this calendar. That's a setting in your system, so if you select to show your current statuses only and it does not change your number of members here on the left, give us a call. We can walk you through setting up those rules for your program. You also have an Open USC button up here on the top right corner. So if you wanted to narrow this list of members down even more, you can open the USC, make your selections, and filter this list down further. And then if you hit Close USC, it'll bring every member back. Now I'm going to go back to the main menu, and I'm going to go directly to the Activities calendar, and I'm going to show you another way to enter attendance. If on the day that I would like to add attendance, I click on the activity scheduled for that day, here I have more options to enter attendance. I could check members in by group for this general attendance activity for the first, because that's the activity I opened on the calendar. I can then pick a unit and select a group. And now here's all of my members that are in the group. I can select one member at a time and use my green arrow to check those members in. Or I can select everyone in my group and use the green arrow, which will move everyone from my group into this activity. This is helpful if you have groups set up, for instance, for your football team, and you know that everybody that's on that team has attended practice. You could come here and select your football team group and check them into your football team activity by group. This is also helpful if you have certain activities that only a certain group of members attend. You could set up that group of kids and use that group to check the members into this activity. Your other option on this screen is what's called Other Attendance. This one works similar to groups except backwards. You can have anyone who's checked into this activity, which is on this list on the left. You can copy that attendance into another activity that's been scheduled on your calendar. To do that, you would select the Other Attendance tab, pick your unit, and select another activity that is scheduled to occur that day. Then on the left, you can select either an individual member and use the green arrow to check them in, or you could select everyone and use the green arrow to check the entire group in. This feature is helpful, for instance, if everyone who checks into the club that morning gets a snack. You can then come here, open general attendance for that day, select everyone that checked into general attendance, then pick your activity for your snack and check everyone into snack. So if all of your members go from general attendance to another activity, this is the easiest way to get that attendance entered. I'm going to close back to the main menu, and we're going to look at the last way to enter attendance. We're going to go directly to the member's record. You could select your member, and then go to the Calendars and Activities tab at the top. Now you'll see that attendance grid. This works very similar to the attendance calendar, where you can either type an X or double-click on a square. And notice here at the top you could change between activities. So if I select Power Hour, remember I scheduled it in January, I can just type an X for the dates that this member attended, or if you're tracking in and out times, you can double-click it and enter the in and out time, just like we did on the calendar screen. Now once all your attendance has been entered, we can go look at the attendance calendar again. You could print or preview this attendance calendar by using the preview button at the bottom. There's summaries here that you can select to show on this report. So if I'd like some summaries of my entire club's ages and genders, I'm going to turn just a few of these on and preview. Notice on this report we also include an average daily attendance number, highest daily attendance, lowest attendance. It will summarize the attendance at the bottom per day here for you. And then on the last page it shows all of the summaries that I had selected on my prep form. Just going to check and see if there's any questions now, because I believe we've covered most of the activities. Let me just go back out to my main menu. All right, so this question is, we learned about how to do a forced activity. Can it go the other way around? We have a mandatory power hour at my unit. Can everyone who signs into general attendance automatically be signed into power hour on the days power hour is scheduled? The answer to that question is no. The copy general attendance only goes the one way. It will only copy from activities into general attendance. The easiest way to handle that would be, again, to go to activities, open your power hour activity, and then you can copy that into other attendance by selecting your unit and general attendance as your other attendance activity. Then you could copy all of your attendance for everyone that's in power hour here on the left into your general attendance activity. Jesse asked how to enter groups. From the main menu, if you click on Groups, this is our group screen. Let me minimize this again. On the top right are all the groups that you already have entered into your system. On the bottom left, you can select to add a group. So earlier I mentioned something about entering a football team group. I'm just going to create a new group here called Football Team. You can select to add an activity, or excuse me, rather a comment here. On the right are every member you've ever entered into member tracking. So these are the members that are eligible to join the group. You can double-click and move kids into the group one at a time. Or if you select more than one member on this list using your Shift or Control keys, you can use your green arrow to move them over. Once you've done that and you close out, that's all there is to it. Now you've got that group created. I'm going to come back in and find my football team group again. And now here on the left are all the members of the group. And on the right are all the members that are still eligible to join. You can come here and edit these groups and move the members back out of the group, or move new members in at any time. Does attendance tie into the annual report? Yes, absolutely. All of your back attendance, be sure to have it all entered by the end of the year. The annual report, for those of you that don't know, is built into our program every year. We plan on releasing a new version on January 4th with the new 2009 annual report. included in that program so you can run several pages of your report right here out of member tracking. That report does pull the data based on the data that you've entered into your system. So yes, be sure your attendance is fully entered. We're also going to be offering a couple more webinars this month on specifically on the annual report, how to prepare your data and how to run that report. So if you have more questions about that, be sure to attend those webinars or watch the recordings on our website. All right, and quickly I'm just going to explain the difference between a group and an activity. Groups are just a subset of members. So a group has nothing to do with attendance, with an activity. This is simply a way to group your members together so that you could pull reporting by just that group of kids. You can view just that group of kids and members. You can check that group of kids into activities. So groups, think of groups as a tool to group your members together so that, let's say, you're tracking a grant and only certain members are qualified for that grant. You could come here and set up a group in the name of that grant, enter all of those members into the group that might qualify for the grant. Then now you can use that group of just those few members to check just that group into an activity, just get reporting for just that specific group of members. So just remember, groups tie to members, not to anything else. So if you have questions about that or if you're confused about that, call us at the office and we can give you a little bit more information. And now I'm just going to go back to my activity calendar. And for today, I'm going to go ahead and schedule general attendance to occur just for today. And I'm also going to check schedule power hour to occur today. Now I'm just going to leave the screen open and I'm going to make sure all of my selections here are correct. So, if you have to schedule a lot of activities at once, keep in mind you can keep the screen open and just keep scheduling one after another till they're all completed. So now for today, I have general attendance and I have power hour. So for those of you that have to copy attendance and would like to, again, get another run-through of that, I'm going to go through that one more time. First, I'm going to go to my power hour activity and enter some attendance onto power hour for today so that we could see these kids. So now if you're at your club and your kids have all checked into power hour and now they need to be checked into general attendance, you can go directly to the activity calendar. I'm going to double click on power hour for today because all my kids have already checked into power hour. You can see the list of members on the left that have checked into power hour for today. Now, if you need to check everyone from power hour into general attendance, click the Other Attendance tab, select your unit, and select general attendance as the activity. Now you can select everyone on the left, click the green arrow, processing has been completed. That means everyone on the left has now been checked into general attendance. And if I close back to the main menu and I go to my attendance calendar, you can see that those members that I've copied that attendance over for now have X's for general attendance for today. Now, if you would like to do that at your club and you need written instructions, just shoot me an email or send me another question in our question box here, and I'll send you emailed instructions on how to do that. All right, this concludes our training. Thank you again for joining me today. Remember to visit our website for quick tips, which are instructions on how to do many of the common things in our program. This is our website, and here are the quick tips on the left. We have them for member tracking and for supporter donation system. So you could come here and select, for instance, activity setup. And here are the instructions for most of the items I covered today. You could print these and use them when you actually go to schedule your activities. If you need further assistance or have questions, feel free to call us here at the office. We'll also be posting recorded versions of these webinars here on our website. Be sure to check those. Have a great day, and thank you again for joining us.